Hey lovelies, and welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Today we're going to be talking about Blue Therapy, and that is on E4, and specifically episode 2. So this is going to be a review, so if that's not what you're looking for, please go ahead and click out of this video. Now, if you're here looking for a review or recap of the episode, I will try to play as many clips as possible. So if for whatever reason, if you're in a different country, and unable to have the clips or watch the clips, you can at least follow me as I go through it and as we do it together. Of course, to avoid being copyrighted, I will be playing the clips, I'll be talking, and ultimately I will be giving my feedback in between that as well. Now, before we move into it, just to say that this is the part 2. So if you haven't watched part 1, I will put the link in the description bar below. So click on part 1 first, watch that, and then come and watch part 2. Now, let's get into it. Okay. So let me just share some of the clips. Okay. I'm trying to find a layout that works, that is clear enough so you guys can see. Fabulous. Okay. So let's begin.
It's not your show. It's not about you. You come to support me. So either do that or probably better if you didn't, if you're going to bring like the vibe down.
Okay. So if you guys haven't watched that, I encourage you to watch the part 1 of this because you get the context of who this couple are and how they've been navigating their relationship. Okay. So Lauren basically is the more outspoken one, and it comes across as Michael does not really express how he truly feels to Lauren. However, now that he's in therapy, he seems to be able to express himself more in front of the therapist. And I know, like, sometimes in relationships, sometimes this happens, and that's why sometimes it's important to have a actual third party licensed therapist in situations like that, or get some counseling when you feel like you're trying to have conversations and you guys are at an impasse, or there are definitely issues in the relationship, or even generally in terms of like trying to improve the health of the relationship.
For me, it's like quite hard really because my career is getting like better, and then to hear like just from his side, it's like negative. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the only place where I'm getting negative from.
It makes me feel like now your career's taken off that you haven't got the time for me.
But when we're
Okay. So one of his issues, Michael's issues, is that he feels like Lauren has gotten to a point in her career where her career is popping off, but she no longer has time for him. And I know, like, sometimes when there is a relationship dynamic where one person is a lot busier than the other, um, and that, and then when someone is sort of at a place where their schedule is so different from the other party's schedule, then they can be in a situation where one party can feel like they're not really a priority, they're not getting as much attention from their partner. And I'll be honest, I feel like Lauren doesn't help matters at all because she's constantly canceling scheduled dates. So that can't be good for anyone, I'll be honest.
at home, am I not like the most loving, like affectionate, like girlfriend like you've ever had?
I only get to see you once in a blue moon.
But I feel like in the past, I have like stopped, like put my career on hold because I've had like crazy jealous boyfriends and stuff, and I feel like I'm just over that.
I think she's sort of in a space where she has put herself on hold for such a long time in previous relationships, and now she's on over on the extreme now where it's like, I'm not going to do nothing for you, I'm not going to make you a priority in my life, I'm just going to focus on my career being a priority. But the thing about it is, if you're going to be in a relationship, then your partner or your relationship should also be a priority. You can't, it's like what you pour into is what grows, right? If you're not pouring into your relationship, then it's not going to yield the results that you do want. You're going to end up in a very unhappy relationship. Ultimately, it will end in the demise of the relationship. Now, the thing about it is, like, is that what you want? I know sometimes, like, we can get very carried away, and this is something I've done in the past where I'm very, very focused and very business oriented and stuff. And I can get to a point where I'm all up in what I'm doing and what I need to get done. and all of that. And the last thing on my mind is, a relationship or a partner or stuff like that. And I think that that was also testament to my immaturity at the time and my inability to properly prioritize what was important. And so I feel like it's almost like the extremes, you're like, nah, I'm not going to let anyone come in between my career, because she's dealt with people coming in between her career. And now she doesn't want any of that to happen anymore. But it's like there has to be a balance where you are working on your career, but you are also making time for the person that you have chosen to be with. Let's keep watching.
Kind of at the point where it's like, listen, I am focusing on my career. Like, I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm always choosing love. I love love so much. So a lot of the time I've like locked off things, but for what? So I'm just not willing to do that again.
That is exactly the point. It's like the trauma from the past relationship where she put in everything into that relationship and wasn't prioritizing her career. Now she's overcompensating. And the thing is, the truth is, you can have multiple priorities, right? You can have priorities and you're like, okay, these are the things I prioritize other than everything else, right? And so I feel like career is part of it, relationship is part of it. But also, I think it depends on what stage you are at. Like, for instance, if you're just in a relationship, just to be in a relationship, or you're in a relationship because you consider this person to be your life partner, you consider wanting to have that commitment, that lifelong commitment, or at least a long term commitment, then I think the way you should treat those should be a lot different, essentially. But let's keep watching.
Have you guys spoken about this? Not particularly. As you can see, Lauren's got a very big personality. She overtalks and she cuts in and she just shuts off the conversation.
Look at her facial expression. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And yeah, that's interesting. I guess it must be hard, like if you're dating someone who you feel like has such a big personality and you can't even say anything to them without them having some sort of reaction. That's the thing. I think it's one of those things where no matter how much of a big personality you have, you should still have that level of like safe space to be able to talk about like things. I would say that's just my little 2 cents.
Where did this energy come from? Like, where was this before the therapist was in the room? Like, who put 20p in you, mate? Like, you're chilled, you're being a Libra. Then all of a sudden now.
Girl, she honestly sounds like when they're home, like he doesn't do all of this. And like all of a sudden now he's in front of the therapist and he has like courage to be speaking up about these things. Because she definitely seems like shocked about his reaction and the way he seems to be handling things. Interesting. Let's keep watching.
In therapy, and it's like, oh, boom, 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 like we're ops.
I feel like I'm this like little tag along and like I'm just sort of following her about. I just want my girlfriend back.
So would you like it if I was less successful?
Obviously, I don't want that. Like I said, I want you
Would you
to
like that when you were
He just wants his girlfriend back. So I am very curious though to sort of see like what was life like for them initially before her career started popping like that, because sometimes it's the shift. If you're used to having someone's time all the time, you're used to speaking to them all the time, you're used to being able to have them next to you all the time. If all of a sudden you don't, sometimes it can get a bit like, ooh, what's excuse me, like what's really going on. And I think like there's an element of that. He's used to having a little bit more of her. And I feel like the fact that he's complaining about this is actually triggering for her, because her response is like, don't you want me to be successful? It comes across as very much, because if I think about it, if my partner, especially if I haven't seen other things to make me feel like he's jealous of me being successful and he's not supportive of me being successful, I don't think that I would jump and say something along those lines, if that makes any sense. But let's keep watching.
chill more and watch Netflix and stuff.
No, I don't want that. I just want a bit more time with you.
He doesn't get it because he's in a 9 to 5, yeah? So you've got your job, fantastic. You've even been promoted, amazing. I'm not where I want to be yet. And I need to.
I hear that though. I hear that. She's like, she's not where she wants to be yet. So she has to do whatever she has to do to get to where she wants to be. And you know what? That is fair enough. That is fair enough. Now, do I completely think that that's an excuse and that's something that should be okay? No, I don't think so. I think if you're going to commit to being in a relationship, unless you don't see this relationship being something serious and you're just, you just want to have a buddy, you just want to have some company, if you leave, someone else will replace him. If that's the sort of relationship you want, then I guess all is fair in love and war, right? It is what it is.
To work to get it. I feel like I'm being punished for trying to do what I want to do. Do you know, like, I'm so sorry I don't have a 9 to 5, like your little exes. I'm so sorry that I'm trying to, like.
She is so patronizing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I don't have a 9 to 5. Like, girl, what was that for? Like the rest of your little exes. That's very demeaning. There's no need for all of that, sis. No need whatsoever. Like, that behavior just rubs me the wrong way. Like, what was that about? And what was that for?
Like, actually, like, become a superstar. You don't just get there. It's not overnight, and it's a constant effort. At the start of the relationship, and all the things that he's now using against me.
Yeah, honestly, she definitely comes across as very self-centered and feels like it's only her needs that count in the relationship when that's absolutely not the case. If you want to be in a relationship, then your partner's needs must count, your needs must count as well.
Like, it was amazing, you know. He was like, oh my gosh, yeah, my girlfriend's superstar, like showing me off, posting all my like music videos and stuff. But now all of a sudden, now that we're together, it's a bad thing.
Girl, I don't understand how you got there unless we're not watching the same thing, unless they're editing things out that we're missing. But what it sounds like, it just sounds like he wants more time with you, sis. At least he wants to spend some time with you. Like, some people don't even want to be home, they don't want to spend time. Like, at least he's trying to spend some time with you. Now, if behind the scenes he's not being supportive of your career and all of that, then 100% I'm with you, sis.
I want to move on with our relationship. I want us to keep going, but I don't know how it's possible with how things are at the moment. I can't offer her all the same things that her career can. Do you know what I mean? An average.
Ooh, he said, I can't offer her all the things her career can. He is right about that, but let's see how he explains that.
Day for Lauren is like hanging out in the studio with all these famous rappers and artists, and my average day is scooping dog shit all day.
Oh, now it sounds like this man has an issue with what it is that, because if you're saying, oh, we're hanging, okay, so she's in there hanging out all day with famous rappers, whilst the most interesting part of his day is scooping up dog ish. Then that shows that there is a discontentment in your career path and what you want for your life, which then means then you aim higher. Maybe that's the problem as well, right? The reason you're so upset is because you want more for yourself, but you're not going out to get it. But she is out there doing that and doing this. Because it's a very interesting thing to say. Why the comparison? It's the comparison that makes me think, let's think about this a little bit more in depth, right? Could there be an issue where he is sort of discontent with his work, with his career path, and feels like she's having all the fun while I'm scooping dog-ish? But you chose that job. You could be doing other things. Why is there a need for a comparison? Like, for instance, now, I currently do a job I really absolutely love, right? And I can't imagine, out here saying to my man, like, oh, comparing his work with my work. Not that I have a man right now, but my point is, like, I just don't understand where that comparison would come from. It just seems a bit, yeah. There's definitely more to this.
Do you make time for Michael?
Yeah, of course I do.
I feel like she makes as much time as she could.
I don't.
I don't think you do. I think she cares about her career. And
Okay. He feels like all she does is, like, all she cares about is her career. Now, there are certain things that Lauren has said herself that does come across as all she really, really cares about is her career, and that there is a selfish element to that, right? However, I do think also Michael needs to watch himself as well. Because there was something that I remember, and now listening to this in the second episode that I covered in the first episode, which was about the fact that he felt that she was always sort of like, so he would show up to her events, right? She felt like he would show up to her events, with a stank face, upset, all of that. And the thing is, I don't really agree with that. If you show up somewhere to support your partner, then you better put on a brave face. I don't care if you're tired. I'm sorry. Like, you have to come with good energy, especially like in a creative space, right? Like, you need that creative juices, the energy to be flowing. You don't want your partner to be a Debbie Downer whilst you're trying to, live your dreams and do that and do all of that, right? Now, I'm not oblivious to the fact that it can be quite hard to support a partner, um, especially if the timing is quite different. Like, you have to be up late and all of that. Like, but at the same time, it can't be every night, right? So when it is, you have to be a good sport if that's the partner you chose. And so now thinking about that, plus the fact that now he's compared their jobs, I feel like he has some insecurities in there. He probably feels like she's hanging out with famous rappers and all these things, and they can offer her a lot more than he is able to offer her. And that is the root of what his issues are.
That's it. She's focused on being a superstar. She's focused on Lauren. And let's see, she's not saying anything. She knows it's true.
I don't not give a shit about you.
Don't. You literally want to be a superstar. That is it.
I do want to be a superstar.
Exactly.
Yeah, she definitely wants to be a superstar, and you can tell she's very ambitious, and that's really what her goal is. And she's very, very laser focused. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like when you're in a relationship, you need to also make time for your partner. And if you're not, then you have to also be okay losing that partner if it does, if they're unwilling to stay whilst you do that and, deprioritize them really.
Like, what's the point of
If you
being
could
with
handle
you?
it and you could be supportive, then
I
it
am
wouldn't be at the
supportive.
cost of nothing.
Have I not supported you like the whole way?
Okay. Now, if you're still watching, what I completely appreciate, please make sure, if you're new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe. I do reality TV show breakdowns and commentary. Please also make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And to everyone who has subscribed recently and are my long time returning subscribers, I love you. Thank you so much. We're so close to 1,000, so please keep subscribing. Help your girl out. Your girl's trying to get monetized, so keep the subscription coming, honey.
No,
Like,
you come with the face
understand.
on. And
Just 'cause I'm not 100.
You're
Just 'cause I'm
jealous.
not
You're
doing-
jealous.
What do you expect Michael to do?
I
As
just
far
Yeah, there is. Do you know what? I know she said you're jealous, and I know it was in response to him trying to express his feelings, but I do agree that there is an element of jealousy there. That comparison honestly threw me off. And then him coming there with a stank face. So now looking at both together with that context, that definitely makes me feel some type of way.
as
like,
supporting you?
if you're going to be around, like, be a vibe. Do you know what I mean? I'll get a good opportunity and I'll be gassed off the phone and I mean, we can't do that thing then.
Every opportunity she gets is like at the cost of our relationship, I feel like.
You want me to turn down something, right?
Yeah. He is definitely unhappy. And she is not budging. Like, she doesn't even seem willing to compromise on anything. Now, that being said, I'll be completely honest with you. If I got a business opportunity or something and I was in a relationship right now, would I say no to that business opportunity because of a relationship? I'll be completely honest, no. That's the thing. That's why I date partners who are ambitious and supportive, and because they would be the one egging me on, like, girl, you better take that opportunity. This is in line with the things that we're trying to do. So those are the kind of people you should be dating, not someone who is going to make you turn down opportunities. I will say that.
Right, and choosing.
Yeah.
I turned them down, and the next minute we split up, and I never made it because I was just sat with you.
So how should he book time with you? How does he get to do that?
Like,
If
he
you
can
want
say,
Exactly, right? So I love I love that she's aware of that sort of thing. Like, you can be dating someone, you can turn down opportunity, and then you guys break up, and then what happened? You start looking back to say, oh, look at the opportunity I turned down, right? So I don't really believe in that. And I feel like also the more compromises you make in relation to your career usually ends up in one person feeling resentful, feeling unaccomplished. And those things don't help in a relationship anyway. So for me, I'm always like a believer of follow your dreams, follow your passions and ambitions. Um, of course, make time for me. If you have to diarize things and make things happen, absolutely do that. But all of these dreams and ambitions and aspirations should not be an excuse in terms of spending time with your partner, even if you have to squeeze it in.
Put it in the diary. Do you know what I mean? And I will put
So
it in the
Michael
diary.
needs
You
to put
know,
it in the diary,
I will forget
basically.
things anyway.
I just want like a
So it looks like she's finally agreed that, she would put it in the diary in terms of them spending time together. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Now let's see if that actually happens.
normal. Like, I get that she's
Girlfriend. So
not
go back to
normal.
little
Like,
exes then.
I don't
Why
want my
didn't they
exes,
work out? If
obviously.
my career is the only problem.
Because I love you, but I don't want to be with my exes, clearly.
I don't like how she keeps bringing up the ex, the ex, the ex. Like, the ex is an ex for a reason. He's with you. Now, that makes me think of two things. One, does she keep bringing up the ex because that's just something she's done in previous relationships and she likes comparing to exes? Or is it something that he has done, which is bring up his exes, and now she feels like she has to constantly compare herself to the exes? I feel like that's something that I'm hoping would unfold whilst we're watching this series.
For me, conflict is like a worst nightmare. I hate it. It brings me out of my comfort zone.
There has to be some compromise here, right? It's only going to work if there's compromise.
I don't know if this guy's a licensed therapist, but I agree with him on this point, right? There has to be some compromise here. If you want to stay in the relationship, then both parties will have to find some middle ground.
You have to be willing to compromise and understand her lifestyle, what she's doing. Lauren, for you, are you willing to compromise? There has to be some sort of middle ground where you say, you know what, I'm working, I'm vibing, I'm doing my thing. But when he's around,
Yep, there has to be some sort of compromise. So, anyways, I'm going to move forward to another part of this where they talk about their issues in further detail. Guys, is when he starts talking about one of her friendships with one of her male friends. Okay, you guys need to pay attention to this.
They go out to dinner dates together.
I don't go on dinner dates. Like, what has Sasha, please, got to do with this? Me and
Look at how she's smiling in the eyes and the face. Everything is smiling. Interesting.
Sasha are so close, literally. Like, Sasha just really gets me and has been there for me through so many things. Like a true friend, honestly. He's from Nottingham, where I'm from. I'm from Nottingham.
It's funny when she talks about Sasha, she lights up, but then I ain't seen her light up in any of the confessionals about her man. Okay.
That is in London, like the other day, like he's just casually in town and I was in town, so we went for coffee. You're acting like we sat there with a candle in the middle. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing updates. I'm not doing.
So he's definitely insecure, and he's insecure about her relationship with some of her male friends, in particular this person called Sasha. Now, it's going to get interesting because she is going to say something that will really highlight, I guess, or put some sort of credence to how he's feeling. Let's keep watching.
Updates.
Everything gets related to Sasha. If we have an argument, she goes running to Sasha. Even from the very start, there was a whole issue around Sasha. Why was there an issue around Sasha? She told me that Sasha was gay.
No, I did not say that. I did not.
Ooh. Apparently, something about being gay. So you're telling me you lied to your partner that Sasha was gay? Not a good start to a relationship, is it now?
So, Lauren, what did you say?
Right, so I might have just tried to make out, he might be gay. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted him to not think of him as a threat.
So she just kind of played down the fact that she lied that this man was gay, just so that her boyfriend will be cool with her having a male friend. That is not cool, sis. You're lying, and that's not acceptable. So you to start a relationship. Like, who thinks about lying like that in that way? That's just weird. Like, this is someone that you just started dating and you're already lying to them about stuff like that. That's weird.
I mean, imagine these roles were reversed, right? And I told Lauren that I've got this friend called Tony, right? Could
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough.
be man or woman's name. She's expecting, lad Tony from the pub, drinks beer, watches football, and then she sees some supermodel, like skinny, beautiful, big boobs, all of this. Like, how would that make her feel?
Well, Michael, have you
Oh, he is jealous of Sasha. I wonder what Sasha looks like. If you guys know who Sasha is, please put his Instagram in the comment section, guys. I want to know what Sasha looks like. Because the way he's giving that reference to the girl, looks like this, looks like that. So I'm like, Sasha must be like hot, really tall, whatnot. Completely sidebar conversation, right? The other day I went out and I ran into someone from Blue Therapy. Of course, I didn't say hi. If you're wondering, I did not say hi, especially because it's one of the people who I won't say clowned, but who I have talked about on the show, and also I just didn't think it was appropriate, especially because they weren't physically there or the person wasn't there with their partner, right? So I wasn't about to walk up to the person. And also, what would I say? Oh, I have a YouTube channel where I was dissecting your behavior and I feel like your behavior is not this. Or, well, I would love to have you on the show and talk to you. Well, it wasn't appropriate. But anyways, let's go back to this episode.
met Sasha at any point?
We met at one of her gigs, actually. And obviously, at this point, I still thought he was gay.
Okay.
And I'm getting a drink. There's this big guy next to me. Like, he's like a big, muscly guy, like quite good looking.
Big muscular guy, quite good looking. Oh, okay, Sasha. Where you at, Sasha?
And then after the show, we're chatting, and he comes over and he starts chatting to her. I think, like, who's this? And obviously, it was sort of halfway through the conversation when she told me that he's Sasha.
Look at that face. Okay. All right, Sasha.
And then next thing I know, I got this 6'3", massive, muscly, good-looking guy in front of me. It made me feel small and like demasculated.
Ooh, he made me feel small and emasculated. That is very deep. That is very, very deep. So because this man that is 6'3", muscular, comes around your girl, that made you feel small and emasculated. That means there's something going on with you. You're really insecure within who you are as a person. For you to feel emasculated and small just because you saw a man that was 6'3" and muscular that was talking to your girl. Like, does that mean every time you're around a tall, muscular person, you feel insecure and feel like you're a small person? Like, that is definitely, he comes across as having one of those short man syndrome thing where just because like deep down you're like you have like a little bit of a syndrome where you feel like, oh, you feel like everyone is better than you, or you feel some type of way about your height and you feel like everyone notices, but it's like, you're the only one that notices this huge thing, and it's not, you just happen to be short. Like, it is what it is. So let's keep watching.
Emasculated.
Michael has like a big issue with height.
I don't have a big issue.
The problem is, Sasha is tall, right? And I think that is what the problem is. How tall did you say he was in your Tinder profile? How tall did you say
I
he
said
was?
I was like a little bit taller.
A little bit taller.
So he lied about his height. You lot are liars. Like, you guys just be lying for no reason. So Michael lied about his height. But why? Like, oh, guys, this has happened to me before. Met someone on a dating site now. This person put like I think he was 6 foot or something, or was it 5'11" on the dating app. I met the person, I was like, wait, why are we the same height? And I know dang well I ain't no 5'11". I'm like probably 5'6". Maybe if you even wanted to add a little extra, maybe almost 5'7". Right? That's even if I'm probably, I don't know, probably adding a little extra, like I have really big hair or something. Like, And this man was telling me he was 5'11" in his profile. I'm like, dude, you ain't no 5'11". And he laughed and smiled and was so cheeky. I was just like, why do people lie about it? Like, let the person meet you based on the truth. Don't take people's choices away from them. But anyways, let's keep watching.
You said he was 5'11" on his Tinder profile.
But everyone fibs about their height on Tinder. Like, it's like common.
5'11". I guess that's what they always like to say. They don't say 6 foot because they don't want you to catch them out. But 5'11", they're like, ooh, you know, 5'11". Oh, please.
I think everyone does it.
It's obviously a big insecurity of yours.
I'm average height, you know, I'm not like 5 foot tall. I lied about a couple inches. Why is this a whole big issue? I don't understand.
Just a couple inches, honey. You look like you're 5'7", bro. Don't be doing that. Stop it. Just a couple inches. No, bro. Stop. A lie is a lie, and this is not good. Don't be out here lying and then be like, oh, it's a couple inches. No, bro, you're lying.
Understand why this is getting brought up in the slightest.
How are you going to pretend you're 5'11" when you're 5'7"?
5'8".
Don't tell me you're something and then not.
Exactly. You see, I even guessed it was 5'7", because looking like that, you're probably 5'7". So 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Come on now. Like, how you finna lie like that? That's too much.
Be it.
Let's just confirm the fact that both of you have lied about something. Obviously, Michael lied about his height on Tinder. You lied about Sasha being gay. Now the lies
True. So you guys are just liars at this point.
are out. We're trying to understand this dynamic with Sasha specifically. Can you clear that up for me?
I generally feel like I cannot trust them together. Like when they're together and I'm not there, like I've got the running through my head, like them rolling around naked on the floor.
What
And
are you doing to me right now?
Rolling around naked. That is extreme. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sasha. Hi, Sasha. Like, oh my goodness. That is too funny.
No, obviously not. Look at her. She's beautiful. What guy would not find her attractive? I think something must have happened as well.
Right. He's obviously got a problem with the parents' height.
Ooh, I think something must have happened. Okay. This is getting juicy now. This is getting a little juicy. I'm tired of talking about the height thing. Let's see if we hear something else.
Bring up. So obviously me being me, I just all let it lay.
Lauren, has anything happened between you and Sasha?
Oh my gosh, Michael.
What's happened with you and Sasha? I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh, listen. Okay, me and Sasha kissed like one time.
What?
No, listen.
Whoa. The plot thickens. Did you see that smile on your face? Me and Sasha kissed like one time. Oh my goodness. This is something like, yo. I don't even know, man. Like, oof.
Kissed him.
Ages ago, like years ago, you never
lied
had
to me.
a little kiss.
That's something you bring up though to your partner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Like, he is right. It is something that you bring up, especially if that person is going to be in you guys' space in the way in which it sounds like Sasha is. You know, it's not something where he would want, you know, someone else to have that information but him. But at the same time, I question even him having that information, how that information is going to work, because he's already insecure to begin with. But either way, despite that, she shouldn't take that choice away from him. You know, she's meant to at least communicate that to him. Let him then decide whether or not he wants to, you know, fool around with someone or date someone who has a best friend or has a really close guy friend who she has kissed in the past, but is saying nothing is happening with them. Would you date someone who has a girl, or would you date a woman who has a male friend, close friend?
Honestly, I'm furious right now. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Is there any reason you didn't share this information earlier that you had kissed Sasha?
No, but I mean, why am I going to sit and tell him like every single mistake or every little tiny kiss?
I don't need to know who you played doctor and nurse with in primary school, but
Every little tiny kiss. The thing about it is I feel like she minimizes things instead of taking accountability. Okay, I should have told you. I apologize for that. The reason I didn't tell you was because I felt like it was a little kiss. As opposed to, do I have to tell you every... Like, that sort of behavior or response is not necessarily, like, productive. That does not, like, take the conversation forward in any way. And so, like, I think they are, like, compared to their level of toxicity with the other couple's toxicity, I'll probably say their toxicity is a little bit more a little slightly better. You know, their level of toxicity is slightly lower compared to the other couples that we're dealing with. And yeah, so I will say that. But at the same time, I do think there is definitely a lot that these people need to work on. They need to work on actually communicating, which is basically like not just talking, like listening to your partner, let's understanding, not listening to respond. Because it sounds like a lot of what they do is very reactionary. If you look at the way when they have their talks and stuff, you know, the way they interrupt, and it's very reactionary. Oh, this happened, you know, as opposed to, okay, let me hear what this person has to say. Let me then say my little 2 cents in response to what they have said. And after hearing to understand what they have said, because it's different when you're just hearing to respond. Like when you're hearing to respond, you won't even let that person finish when you already have your response, right? You're like it's almost like tag me in, tag me in, tag me in, tag me in. Like you're waiting to be able to say your little 2 cents, right? That's just the reality. That's what you're waiting on, right? You don't afford or allow the opportunity to be able to, like, you know, listen, have a proper dialogue, you know, where you listen, understand, empathize, and then respond. Instead, it's almost like, oh, reactionary, let's just respond. No, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. And I just think that's not constructive for a relationship. The other thing is, I think, you know, she needs to prioritize them actually having dates and doing all that good stuff. I think those are some of the things that I personally think she needs to work on in terms of him. He's very insecure. There's definitely issues he needs to work on, self-worth, self-esteem issues there, that I think he needs to absolutely work on, for his own sake, and not just the sake of the relationship, but for his own personal work that he needs to do on himself. So, as part of the advice from the therapist was basically like schedule things in, spend time together, and basically prioritize doing that. And so, Michael went ahead to set up a date night for them to spend time together, and let's see how we went. Okay, I don't want to get copyrighted. I want to, like, you know, stick straight into the thing without the music if I can avoid it.
Done this to me once again, you know. But what's the point in me putting in the effort when she's not going to try? We have one homework to do. We had one homework.
So she basically did not show for a while. She kept him waiting. He thought she wasn't going to show, and here comes Lauren. I don't want to play all of that bit, so let's just get straight into her joining.
I get the same thing every time, like, oh, this guy didn't show up, or this guy showed up late, or it overran. Like, I don't care. I just want to know why. Why are you not here on time when we're supposed to be spending time together? You know, I'm going to have to tell Joe about we've had the homework, right?
Don't tell him, that's going to piss me off.
Okay, so now you want to hide information from your therapist. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you go to therapy so you can address your issues, right? It's not the time to then start hiding the fact that you didn't turn up on time to dates that you set and scheduled in your diary. It doesn't make any sense.
Just gonna say I'm not listening.
I just want you to stick to the plans that we make.
Well, what about next week? We'll do it next week. We'll just do it together no matter what. Like, even if something comes up, I'm just saying no, okay?
I feel like we said that before.
I did try, and I'm.
Yeah. It must be really upsetting to always be the one making plans for someone or for your relationship, and you want to do stuff, and one person is constantly not showing or showing up late. It just shows a lack of regard for the relationship, really, and shows a lack of prioritization of the relationship.
I'm sorry.
All right.
You forgive me? And you're not gonna start doing it?
If you book me in 100% next week.
So now you want to blackmail him to not tell the therapist, okay? And he's, of course, going to agree that, oh, if you book me in, you know, well, I think their issues could be fixed. if they both decide to make adjustments. For him, he needs to work on himself. For her, she needs to also work on herself, but in a different way. He needs to work on those esteem issues and the way he sees himself and his sense of self. She needs to work on prioritizing, and they both need to work on communication. So that's where I'm going to end it today. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't already. As I said earlier, we're trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers. So please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you tap that bell for notifications. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you share this video. And if you would like to see the other couples, please make sure you watch part 1. I will put the link of it in the description bar below so you guys can pick that up and watch. But yeah, thanks again, and I will see you guys later. Bye.